Unveiling champions. You are born a champion, but it's only through guidance and training that this can be achieved.
Okay, thank you, and I'm Nelson Adero. I'm welcoming you to this Career Fair series, and it is live here at Talanta Institute, and we'll be covering quite a number of interesting topics that are of importance to youth and their career development, because there are weak areas that we have established through research that you need to address. School is not enough. You need mentorship, and you need this kind of interactive training so that you can be competitive in the job market. Looking at the screen, you can see some 3 core values: diligence, excellence, and intergenerational responsibility. These are the core values that we believe are dear to us, and if the youth can embrace these core values and live them out, then they can be competitive and borderless global citizens. That is why we are branding this training as Impact Borderless Digital. I would like to challenge you to have a transformed mindset. You are not being trained for Kenya or East Africa. In the era we are living in, you are being trained for the entire world. You are global citizens, and that is why we also like to call you netizens. So again, looking at the screen, we'll cover all those 6 areas today, and it will be an interactive session. So feel free to interrupt if there's something that is not clear to you, and that kind of active engagement is what will add value to your being here today. You can also tweet. You can see the hashtag Talanta Talks at Talanta Digital, Talanta TV, and we'll be able to consolidate all the rich information that arises from this interaction so that you can refer to the same later on. So that part of introducing participants, I've already introduced myself as Nelson Adero, a lecturer at Taita Taveta University and also a youth mentor. I was appointed a mentor under the Presidential Digital Talent Program. It is under the ICT Authority. This is a 1-year mentorship program, and I would also encourage you to join. They mentor graduates of STEM. You know STEM? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematical sciences. And it is a paid internship program, which is good for you. And mentors are the people bridging the gap between college and industry, because they have the experience that you can borrow. Again, I challenge you that as youth, apart from having a mentor, you also need to have a clear philosophy, life philosophy. Imagine approaching an interview panel, and you are asked to tell the interview panel about yourself. What will you say? If you have a clear-cut life philosophy, it will put you ahead of the race. And that is why you see I'm giving you an example there of my life philosophy. My authentic duty is the excellent, responsible, self-driven, and selfless service of my refined gift to the world. Gifts are not to serve you. They are meant to serve the world. So if you have a talent, it is a great mistake to sit on that talent. You have to refine that talent. You need to develop that talent and serve it to the world. That is why we say no one alive is debt-free, because you have some unique talent that the world requires of you to sharpen and serve diligently. And you must be self-driven, and you must be selfless, not selfish. Self-driven, not self-centered. I don't know if any of you can guess what is the place that is being shown on the screen. Any wild guess? Can you guess where it is? Is it in Africa or in Europe or Asia? I know you can guess. Where? On which continent? There's no wrong or right answer, but you need to be interactive. Don't have that barrier. Any of them can say anything. There's no wrong or right answer. Just the continent. Your wild guess, because this is part of the training, yeah? Yes? You need a mic?
Asia.
Yes, correct. Yeah, this is showing you the need for international exposure. International exposure is not anything you can buy. You have to experience it. So I'm challenging you as youth of the future, leaders of today and tomorrow, to challenge yourself as global citizens to be able to be globally competitive. So you need international exposure. If you have had your first college training in Kenya, why don't you challenge yourself to do the second degree or second certificate somewhere else so that you can have this intercultural experience that will also contribute to your global competitiveness. So I'm just showing that as part of my international exposure, and I've consolidated all this so that I can deliver the same today and challenge you to have a transformed mindset. Again, you can see in the background snow. So it shows you this is not anywhere in the tropics. It is in the temperate regions where you have temperatures of negatives, negative 20, negative 30 degrees Celsius in winter. And this also showing you Freiburg University, where I have been for the last 3 years for research. And there is a growing body of Kenyan students there. After this training today, I would like to challenge you to explore opportunities. And as your possible mentor, you can ask me about the possible opportunities that you can exploit in a region like that. Again, this training is also meant to teach you what we call people skills, including communication skills. That is where most graduates fail. After graduating with your degree in medicine or mechanical engineering or law, you think it is enough, but that is just paper qualification. The industry demands of you quality, and that is where you need to explore more of your interpersonal intelligence. How do you relate with other people, and how can you communicate effectively? So on the screen, you can see I'm summarizing all my experience on one slide. And this is how you should pitch your idea to industry. Maybe you have a project you want to sponsor. You should be able to have some of these skills so that you can present a convincing outline like that. Who can guess again what is on the screen? Which city? I think this is now more obvious. So let's get someone from the audience. It is self-explanatory. Which city is that? I think now you have the power to select anyone to talk so that it remains an interactive session the way we said before it should be. Yeah, just give the gentleman. The gentleman is ready to say something.
Berlin.
Yeah?
Berlin.
Yeah, that is written there. The capital of which country? Germany. Interestingly, the population is less than the population of Nairobi, daytime population of Nairobi. So it also speaks to proper planning. So I'm challenging you on the background to think of how you can be creative enough. Look at that kind of building. At Atlanta Institute, you can develop that kind of imagination, creative imagination, come up with proper design like that. So this is meant to challenge your mindset so that you can impact. One of the most renowned architects in Europe lives in Berlin and is an African. He ventured to go out there, studied German, and did architecture in German, and is arguably one of the most prominent architects in Europe. He lives in Berlin. This is the Berlin Wall. You can see a venture to stand there, and this is the parliament, what they call the Bundestag in Berlin. So this is, you can see there, you can see the remnants of the Berlin Wall and the Holocaust. You must have heard of the Holocaust, the mass massacre of the Jews during Adolf Hitler's rule. And these are some of the exposure dividends that you can reap. So coming closer, I usually ask this question: look at that building, look at the fence, and ask yourself, how is it different from a setting in Kenya? If this was Kenya, which kind of fence would you expect? Or let's come closer, if this was Nairobi, which kind of fence or fencing would you expect? And what does this one communicate to you as a young person and as part of your vision as a leader? I've picked on you. Just be free to imagine.
Okay. I think in Kenya would be a stone fence. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. If this was Nairobi, for example, you'd have concrete wall with some electric fence, okay? But this one communicates security. This is in Germany. This is old people's home. And you see the gate is not locked. The fence is friendly. You can just jump over it, and it communicates security. And this comes with civilization, with development. Again, I challenge you, look at that. That is Hong Kong. Liken this river through the city to Nairobi River, and that hill to maybe some beautiful section of Uhuru Park. It communicates environmental responsibility, preserving, conserving the environment for future generations. And this now communicates very well that idea of intergenerational responsibility. Now let's come closer home again. Look at that bird. What is the color of the bird? See, it is black. Is it beautiful? I admire it. That is why I've placed it there. And through this, I'm communicating the power of Africans, the liberated Africans like you, who are well trained to cause change, to be change agents. But don't forget, ready-made success is a mirage. No one should tell you that success is ready-made, that you'll just get it somewhere. That is not sustainable. That is why we talk of people seeing the tip of the iceberg. For example, for me to be able to have this kind of training, it has taken me more than 10 years of research and continuous improvement. But you better start today. Conclusively, we can say the greatest mistake the youth make is that they overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in 1 year. So you want to go marathon in 1 day. Maybe the exams are nearing now. You want to abandon everything and ensure that you read continuously for 10 hours, 12 hours. But the effect of that is that after the exam, you forget everything. But if you plan gradually, in a year, you can go far in an area of refining your gift, in an area of dominance. And that is what you need. That is why we're saying ready-made success is a mirage. I'm also active on social media. As global citizens, you must have a brand identity. What is your online identity? What do people see? Do you have a consistent message on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Medium? How many of you have used Medium? It's also a good platform. You can read more about what experts have synthesized and written in a way that the public can easily understand. So you can get a piece of writing on how to do tests of statistical significance, for example. So if you look at my Facebook page, for example, I've just taken a sample of some of the posts I make. What is the key message? Or from there, what can you say is my consistent message to the world? Again, I would request that one of you answers that. Just read a sample of these messages and tell me what you see as the consistent identity. That is what will make you globally competitive. Your name should trigger some quality that people identify you with. Yes.
Okay, to say what I can say around everything that is written there, the key thing is like the first without air #flag. To every single quote that is here, we can see the words, some of the words are underlined, and the words you can see, we can have gift, #gifts, and gift is in the first quote, the second quote, and I can't see in the rest of the quotes, but they have meaning of what you have written to people to get the content of what we can say it's success.
Great. I can say that is excellent. That is excellent. Hashtags I'm using so that it increases the visibility of what you are writing. I know most of you here know about search engine optimization, don't you? Another consistent message here is that I'm using Facebook to communicate wisdom. What I've learned over the years, I consolidate and post to Facebook. LinkedIn, I use for serious research deliverables. So if you go to my LinkedIn page, you will discover that I communicate issues about education and training, but based on evidence, what I've researched over the years. My Twitter, I use to communicate concise information on events, and also to link up my followers with key resources, informational resources. And I use Medium. It's also a good platform now to communicate ideas about my discipline. My area of specialization is surveying and mapping. And nowadays, it has been rebranded, so you will find universities naming it geospatial engineering or geomatics. Again, I would like to focus your attention on 4 Ds, 3 Ps, and 4 Vs. This will take you far. The 4 Ds are diligence, discipline, determination, and dignity. So, examine yourself. Where have you been failing? Is it in the area of diligence or discipline, determination, or dignity? These 4 Ds are key to your competitiveness. Then you must have purpose, principles, and passion, those 3 Ps. And then you need values, you need vision, visibility, and volume. Visibility is where most people fail because you are not creating an identity and you're not grabbing opportunities to be noticed, to network. It has been said that your network is your net worth. Ask the people who get these good jobs, you can trace the origin to getting network with someone influential. You can be influential in terms of position. You can also be influential because of what you know, then the people you can connect youth to. For example, out of this exposure, I'll also share with you some details about scholarship sources. So what is the youth agenda and why are we so passionate for youth development agenda in this era? I want to show you some revealing statistics and why the youth agenda is more urgent and important in Africa. Now look at the iceberg. This is what I was referring to earlier as the iceberg model. People observe the event, they see success, and they say this is overnight success. But if it is structured success, if it is a structured transition, then it must have started from the mindset. You see the mental model down here. So those who are successful must believe that they can succeed first. Then the architecture, the structure, this is where your diligence and determination come in, and your dignity as well, and your discipline. Then the patterns, your networks, your associations. What takes up most of your time during the day? You may ignore it for a day, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, but after 1 year, we'll be seeing the difference in terms of what has been molding you, the associations you have been identifying with. And they sharpen you, refine your gift in a way such that you can be an icon in a given area. Now, I want you to look at those we call 2018. By the year 2018, 50% of the world population was already living in what we call middle-class households. You also have urbanization, and it is increasing. It is making the labor market more and more competitive. The skills you need nowadays to be competitive must be spiced up with digital literacy. And we can even go further and talk of digital fluency. Now look at Asia, 88% projected share of the global middle class in the near future. And jobs that will be lost to automation globally by 22, about 50%. So you have to be competitive, and you need this kind of training to open your eye to new frontiers. Look again at gender parity. We are talking of gender equality, okay? How long do you think it will take for us to bridge that gap on average globally? Your wild guess? It has been researched. It can take more than a century. But in Africa, there are countries that are already giving us good examples like Rwanda, especially gender parity in politics. Globally, 39% of the global workforce made up by women. Yesterday, I was in a training session, and women were complaining that so much emphasis has been on the girl child that we now need to focus on the boy child. But the statistics are showing us that we still need even more to empower, to do more to empower the our female counterparts. You look at those statistics. So that is a word of appreciation and encouragement to the ladies who are here, because you are part of the change process that will enable us to fast track achievement of gender parity. Now, the statistic there is also highly revealing. If you're asked today, what is the median age of a Kenyan? What could you say it is? The median age. I say you want to give us an estimate.
Maybe the median age is between 18 and 20.
Yeah,
the youth.
You are right. Yeah, you are right.
Yeah.
And in Germany, for example, it is all 47. Japan, 47. The USA, 38. So the youth agenda is real. For Africa, for Kenya, we have a youthful population. We need to train this youthful population to be competitive, and we cannot achieve Vision 2030 without involving the youth effectively. This is an African city, night sky on 19th September, just recently. I want you to look at the city from the sky, okay? and then look at this European city from the sky at night, what can you say? There are similarities and differences. But what strikes you most from that display? This is also recent, 4th of December 2019. And this is the African city, 19th September 2019. Any similarities, any differences? In terms of the lighting, do you see any similarities? In terms of space, planning of space and congestion, for example, do you see any differences? Which one would you say is more congested? This one or this one? The first one. Yeah, now this Cairo, Egypt, and this London. So what challenge does it give you as youth in terms of organized development? What do the Kenyan youth say about the labor market? They need empowerment, education, good education, quality education, and employment. And you know, unemployment is a sensitive and important policy issue. Top 3 criteria for job opportunities that the youth like, and I don't know if you'll identify with this as well. This research by the World Economic Forum revealed that the youth are looking for compensation. What do we mean by compensation? What you get paid for the service you give, compensation. They are saying that is one of the top priorities. Career growth. You don't want to stay in one position forever doing routine tasks. You need career growth. And nowadays we are talking of gig economy. You can do many jobs. You can work at different places because of online connectivity. Again, the average time the youth take on a job nowadays is like 4 years. They want to move on. Sense of purpose and social impact. So it is important and encouraging to know that the youth also have this responsibility, environmental and social responsibility. They need a place that will enable them to have social impact. Does it identify with you? If we could use you as a sample, could you justify this research? Could you say these are the key areas you have been focusing on when you are looking for new opportunities of engagement? True. But there are dangers and pitfalls. If you can't have a proper CV, if you can't pitch yourself effectively during interviews, and you have to know all those 3 sectors that are key to our economy. We have different types of intelligence, but our education system has been focusing more on logical mathematical intelligence, but Talanta Institute is giving you a good example. We also have musical intelligence. We have interpersonal intelligence, existential. How do we develop these other talents that which we have if formal education is only focusing on logical mathematical intelligence? That is why attending Talanta Institute and having this mid-level training opportunities, training colleges to build on your talents is critical. And I would like to encourage you not just to focus on the formal logical mathematical intelligence that is being emphasized at universities. Believe in yourself. You saw the iceberg. You begin from the mindset. Believe in yourself. When it comes to innovation, again, most of us just focus on product, making some new product, but you can also innovate a process. You can come up with a better organizational structure, organizational innovation, and a business model that can work. And these are things that you will not get during a normal lecture. You need mentorship. You need to attend seminars and conferences like this. How many of us here know about the stages of Industrial Revolution and can tell us the stage of Industrial Revolution that the world is hyping nowadays. Which stage of industrial revolution is the world hyping nowadays? You attend conferences, people are talking about it. Anyone aware? You have an idea? Yeah? Okay.
I said maybe.
Yeah. So what is it?
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, artificial intelligence is within what we call the fourth industrial revolution. So you see these stages of industrial revolution, from the first industrial revolution through the second, when we had electricity, and this helped us globally to have manufacturing effectively. Third industrial revolution, that is the era of computer. And now we are in the fourth industrial revolution, Internet of Things, connecting devices, and artificial intelligence, machine learning, leveraging the capability to predict, to have personalized recommendations for customers. And this is the world you are living in nowadays. So let's go to your CV. And I say your CV is the chance to make a first impression in the gateway. So imagine you have this vision of working with Safaricom, working with Google, Microsoft, but there's a big barrier, a gate. You must pass through that gate. But even after passing through the gate, there is still just the compound. You have not entered the house yet. So the CV is the first impression that will open the gate for you. Many a time we have so many CVs when jobs are advertised. You get thousands of CVs, but it is a very easy job eliminating 90% of them, because there are so many glaring mistakes, which I'll demonstrate today, and you will come out of this place a much more empowered person. The next time you make an application, you'll be shortlisted, and you'll be wondering, why did it take this long? How can it be so simple, yet so hard to achieve? And after the gate has been opened for you, you are now in the compound. You need to enter the house to plunder the treasure. Now you need to handle the interview session effectively. Now let me show you something. CV. Let's begin with the format. Which font have you been using for your CV? Just someone to volunteer. Which font have you been using? It is easy to find. You just start writing. You want to say? Which one? Yeah, Times New Roman. Whenever we see Times New Roman, if it is an internationally competitive environment, we know you still belong to the old generation. This is antiquated. It is a tired font. The font also communicates how relevant you are to the times. So why don't you use these impressive fonts like Garamond? Have you tested it? And Cobel. Then CV should also have a header. What happens if the staple comes off and the pages are pulled apart? How will we know this page belongs to who and who? So the header should have your name, for example, and later on I'll share with you a template. Again, instead of your career objective, why don't you market your personal profile summary, what you can do, because a CV should market your strengths. Your volunteer experience. Most people forget this. Volunteering will make you appear very impressive to the panel. What have you been doing? Do you have any volunteer experience? That should be part of your CV. And what of the referees? I see some people having 4 referees, some 6, some 2, but they don't even have the full names of the referees. And you need to have 3 referees. One should be an academic referee, the other should be a professional referee, and then you need a social referee. If you segment them that way, then 3 referees will be enough, but representing different sectors. So I don't know if until that point there's any question, especially this CV part is very exciting to the youth because they have so many things to ask here, and you must have page numbers for your CV. Some people don't even write page numbers. Spelling mistakes on your CV, that is a no-go. You must never have any spelling mistake on your CV. Is there any question so far up to that point? Yes?
And a volunteer experience in that CV, should we include the social work, or is it just social work? I mean, should we include hobbies or just social work because it is volunteer?
Volunteer, as I said before, that you need to show that you are responsible, you want to have social impact, you are environmentally responsible as well. Then you need to include things you have been doing pro bono, that is for free. For example, if you are a member of a church, you volunteer to be part of a team, maybe a hospitality team. I know you are not going to be paid for that, so it is volunteer experience. What of cleaning up the environment? Have you been participating in these environmental cleanup days? Okay, these are part of the silent but very powerful activities that should be part of your CV. And even leadership on some panels, not for pay, but for impact.